Two more? Okay. All right, well, I think we're ready to begin. So, again, I am Jay Tusa. I am the Executive Director of Visit South Walton, the Walton County TDC. And we really appreciate everyone coming out here this afternoon. We had received a letter from several bed tax collectors a few months back in regards to some assistance with what's going on with VRBO. And so we had a meeting with 360 Blue. They were kind of heading up the initiative, and so it was very eye-opening for me and the team what was going on with VRBO. We kind of heard some things, but when we kind of really got into it, I was actually quite amazed at what they are doing and have been doing to the industry. So we thought that we would go ahead and have a meeting and invite folks, and I'm really excited to see this many people here today. Thank you for coming out. This is important because it affects our businesses. And I mean, that's the economy of Walton County. So this is really important. So what I thought we'd do today is just kind of have a dialogue and how the different parameters, things that VRBO is putting in place, how it's affecting your business, and how the TDC might be able to help you with your efforts. And so we have a few ideas, and we'll share those a little bit later in the program. But like I said, really we want to get your feedback so we can kind of take what we have and then kind of zero that in a little bit more, make sure we're going in the right direction. So anyway, I thought I'd just kind of briefly go over a few things, some of the things that we've heard through our conversations and how it's affecting our bed tax collectors on what VRBO is doing. So a couple of them, increasing booking fees for management companies and customers, raising their annual subscription prices. Visitors to VRBO who later book direct can be tracked through VRBO. That was one of the ones that I didn't realize that they are doing. That's kind of interesting. And then they change their fees based on whether a company books, direct or through VRBO. So that was kind of interesting. Removing local branding from rental listings. I think an important service that our rental agencies provide is that local aspect, the knowledge. And so if that's being taken off of a website like VRBO, or if calls are being directed to a call center outside of the area, that's not being able to deliver on the customer service that we want our visitors to receive. So that's a really important thing, I think. We need to be able to be in touch with our customers. So anyway, the other thing is the add-ons to experience booking, so like selling insurance or perhaps packages with bike rentals, those type of things. If VRBO is selling that, that is coming out of our local business's pocket. I mean, that's money that is not being invested in our economy here at home, and that's what we want. So anyway, those are just a few things on our list. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll have a conversation around the room, and we encourage everyone to chime in, express your concerns, tell us what you're seeing in the industry, how this experience is affecting your guests, your businesses. That's what we're here for today. So we really like this to be kind of a nice dialogue, between participation with the audience and then us, the TDC. We'll be taking some notes. We have minutes being taken. So our goal is to take this information and try to create a plan of how we can help with some of these issues. Now, I'm not sure if we'll be able to help with all these, but we certainly will help where we can. One of the things that I've received some emails and phone calls from some folks of, hey, VRBO is solely how I market my business. I'm a mom and pop and I have 1 or 2 units, and so I need VRBO. So, there are bed tax collectors as well, and so we understand that. So we need to really find, how we can help all parties for what we're talking about. So that's what we're here today, figure that out and see what we can do. I would like, though, Ashley Horsley with 360 Blue. She's the one who sent the letter to us and kind of alerted us and put this on our radar, what was going on. So she has graciously agreed to get up and just do a little speech about kind of what this is doing to our industry from her perspective and the perspective of some others who signed a letter along with herself. And so I will turn it over to her, and then we'll be back and have some dialogue.
All right, thank you, Jay. Thank you, of course, to Visit. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. Thank you to Visit South Walton for putting this together. I think it truly means a lot. The turnout today, I think, speaks volumes. And then thank you to everybody who actually came to participate. Again, I think that this is a huge opportunity for us to band together as a community and do what we can to drive business back to our local economy. Part of my voice, I'm a little bit nervous speaking in this large of a crowd, but I wrote the letter a few months ago. It was right after VRBO announced a couple of changes that they were going to be making, and it was pre the match back that they recently rolled out. It was more around the increase in subscription fees, the tack on of the 10 to 12% on the traveler side. And so now we've actually kind of had that conversation evolve quite a bit, and the takeaway from the top is now somewhere close to around 20% off the top for VRBO. I don't know that it's particularly about banding up against VRBO, just like Jay mentioned, because a lot of our economy does rely on the mom and pop companies that do depend on that pretty significantly. But I do think that this is an opportunity for us to be able to have a voice back to Visit South Walton and explain to them, how important it is that the marketing dollars goes back to helping drive business back to our local economy. What we're ultimately going to do if we continue to be this dependent on VRBO or just cater to their increasing fees is we're an industry of small margins anyway, and we're going to see that start to get depleted pretty quickly. And then B, we're going to see our visitors start to recognize that, and unless they understand that you need to book locally, book directly with that independent homeowner, or book directly with that mom and pop company, or book directly with 360 Blue, until they start understanding that message, they're going to continue to get charged more and more money from these OTA sites. And as that continues to happen, people are going to start looking elsewhere to vacation, because we are a fairly expensive destination for vacation, and so we need people to continue to travel to this area. And then also the guest experience is huge. We have a certain clientele that comes to this area, and they're looking for a certain level of service because they're staying in a certain level of property. And once you take that away from our local businesses, then you're putting that experience in the hands of somebody that doesn't know South Walton, somebody that doesn't know 30A, somebody that doesn't know the homes that you spend your time managing and owning. So to me, that's a huge part of it also. And like I said, ultimately, this is just a great opportunity for us to band together, come back to the county and say, here's what we really could use from you in terms of initiatives and where to focus your money and your priorities and your marketing efforts. So that's really the main reason for bringing everybody together today. Thank you.
So thank you, Ashley. Appreciate that insight. And so I would like to introduce a couple of staff members just so we talk. You kind of know who they are. David Demarest is our Director of Communications. Mike Kerrigan is our Director of Marketing. And Dawn Trumper is our Director of Sales. And so I've asked David to kind of we jotted down some ideas that we had initially after our conversation with Ashley. So we're going to kind of go over some of those. And then, like I said earlier, depending on the feedback and information that we get today, we're going to probably take this a step further and kind of enhance what we have and maybe even scratch some of it and kind of start back to square one based on the information that we get. So, David, you want to come up and just kind of talk about some of those ideas?
Hi, again, thank you so much for the turnout. This shows that this is something that's important to you, and if it's important to you, it's definitely important to us as well and to our whole economy. We are somewhat limited as a TDC in what we can do and how we can spend our dollars legally. So, some of the ideas we may throw around today we may take back and find out that that's not necessarily something we can do. I think it is important to bring everybody together. There's a lot you can do independently from us as well. But for us, so cover the first base, of course, we allow all your listings on our website. So we're not, if they find your listing through our website, then there's no percentage taken off, and they book directly with you. And that's something that I think works out pretty well for all of us. Right now, I'll be the first to admit, our website is not in good shape. And we are going to revamp the website. So that means that right now is a good time for y'all to provide input on what we can provide, what's going to make it better for you, what will make it work better. I know that we can improve our management page, our rental management page. And towards that, we can have a vanity URL or something as simple as visit Southwalton / locally managed. And that way you get something that we can put ad dollars behind that can direct people towards that page, and they find your page from there. Something else, an idea we tossed around, was to have locally managed graphic banners, so that when somebody does get to your listing, we've got a badge on there that says this is a locally managed company. These are people who have local expertise and that you can trust to know the area. That's something that you could share on your page as well. If we make it county-wide, business-wide, then that's something that'll have that much more of an impact as far as guests recognizing it and knowing how to use it. Another idea is expanding our co-ops. So on that rental management page, we can have the kind of verbiage on there that says, hey, you might be paying 20% to this company. You might not be getting that local service there. That might be something that you want to avoid by going and booking directly. We can also make ads that we fund that work that same way, that are a co-op ad. So your company can buy into this ad with, say, 5 other companies, and we can share that load and that language. By sharing that load, we get out into much larger publications, much wider circulation, and we start getting this message moving that locally booking is going to be beneficial for both the visitor and for the business and for the local economy. And I think that's a message that really sells well. People understand that. Many of you were probably paying attention when hotels went through this same thing, and hotels got on board with this idea that we have the low price guarantee. Don't worry about going through these other OTA sites. You can book directly through the hotel, and we guarantee you're going to have the best price and the best experience there. So that's sort of an idea that we might consider. It's your business. How you decide to handle that is up to you. So what we'd like now is to hear back from you. Do you like the idea of having a locally managed badge available? Do you see some problems with having a rental management page, or does that seem like a good way to go in terms of fairness to everyone as well? Is there something in the idea of a co-op that you really like, that you really don't like? And so I'm going to become sort of the scribe for this. I'll get the magic marker over there, and we'll get a microphone so I can bring that around to reach you as well. We want your ideas. We want to know what your experience is so far. We want to know also what you've heard that might affect all our businesses.
You got that? Is it working? Oh, they're testing? There
it goes. Test. There we go. Anybody have any? Great. Thanks for going first.
I'll break the ice. I'm Derek Bearby. Got a small boutique property management firm that my wife and I run. And I think one of the things that I think would be fantastic is, sorry, Siri, is if Visit South Walton could kind of become sort of a destination site on par with what we find on HomeAway or VRBO, where we can go in, and I think it would be great and easier for me, if we're already under a lot of constraints in terms of collateral format sizes, the amount of space that we have to put descriptions. kind of look at what HomeAway and VRBO does, incorporate as much of that so we can just cut and paste, because they are the 800-pound gorillas. We're going to have to list there for the time being. But if it can be easy for us to copy and paste that information onto Visit South Walton, then I think that would be, I know selfishly that would be a tremendous benefit. And I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm a software engineer, I'm still trying to figure out how to list the properties on the site. So I think that would be.
So just along those lines, just along those lines, are there enhancements that you'd like to see beyond the model of VRBO, that as we are developing our new site, we can take that information into consideration and perhaps go beyond just what VRBO is delivering currently?
I mean, I would say yes. I think that when you're small, there's a lot of heavy lifting, and being a software engineer, I kind of know what's possible. It's just there's so many hours in the day. But I think tighter integration with social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, Google, would be fantastic. I know as a property manager, one of the things that I always kind of do whenever I'm sort of screening a reservation is I'm scanning. You know, I get their information. I'm scanning the social media sites just to kind of see. You know, I might not want to rent to a Party Dude, 1482. So I think property management tools, you know, I think number one is advertising. At the end of the day, I'll manage things with spreadsheets. But if we can develop and have one kind of unified place that everybody can go to where it's easy for us to list our properties, I think that'd be a fantastic start. And then anything above that, there might be a lot of small mom and pop shops like me that are looking for management tools, like I think HomeAway, or there was a company that I forgot their name. I looked at it, but through the iOS app that 360 Blue uses. Glad to have you. I want to say I think that was a company. There was a company here that was local in Walton County that wrote that and sold it to HomeAway.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So you know. So I think something like that would be a fantastic. But I think the local badging would be great. I'll talk all day. But
and one thing I meant to mention as well, a fairly new position at the TDC is our community relations specialist, and that's Christine over there. If you have trouble managing your listing on our site, you can call or email Christine, and she can come to your place of business to help you out with that. You can come to our place of business. We can help you out with that. We do training for your staff as well. So that'll definitely be something, if you're not fluent right now, to take advantage of, and we can find the bugs that way and help fix them.
Hey, Jason Sprinkle, also with 360 Blue. I think one of the things that's most important from the county, as opposed to maybe trying to be the destination site, because I do think it's difficult to compete with the billions of dollars of the OTAs, no matter who you are. It's not necessarily from the traffic standpoint, but from the credibility standpoint. There was a pretty good national reach a couple weeks ago on the Book Direct basis. Nothing surprising. The hotels did it, but the vacation rental community around the U.S. and somewhat around the world came together behind this Book Direct messaging pretty effectively last week. And most of the folks in the room that I know are driving that Book Direct message on our websites and in our literature. I think one thing that the county could do that would be very helpful is provide the backing to that messaging and to the added credibility. You guys, you come with the idea that you have nothing to sell. You're the county, and if you support all of us, and by all of us I mean individual RBOs and companies, by saying Book Direct with a local professional or local homeowner and save 20%, rather than having to get 10 of us to hit that same homeowner. As soon as they hear that from the county, I think they'll believe it. It'll back up what we're saying, and I think collectively it'll, 20% off the top from us is also 20% off the top from you guys, and 20% off the top from the bike rental companies and the restaurants.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right on point as far as the collective message of Book Direct. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Renee Clayton, Beach Condos in Destin. What if you did national advertising, and if we had some kind of basically like Good Housekeeping seal of approval but like local South Walton provider that we could be marketed on your advertising, plus also show up in our advertising so that people begin to associate one with another. But if you could do lots and lots of national advertising for this so that it would drive people back to your website and then therefore to our websites, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's kind of along the lines of what David was saying, is that badge, so we can kind of all kind of share that badge of that book local messaging. And so it can kind of be, we can share that. If we create something like that, we can share it, and then it's something that can be in our ads on our website and then on your ads and in your website, and that we have that, cohesion there of the messaging from across the board, whether you're, with one, rental management firm or another, but it's all the same as far as that message goes.
With like a trademark.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If we had to buy into it, if with this trademark, if the local providers have, not a big expense, but to be able to use that trademark, you have to be part of the group.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about, the hotel space. That's the background that I, come from. They've been mildly successful in moving for the OTAs to direct bookings. Where they've gotten success in that is actually through their rewards members are offering incentives to book direct, because they don't lower the rate, because all the big companies have rate parity guarantee. No matter where you are looking, it is the same rate. They make less because of what they have to pay commission on, but where they've been successful is going after the Expedias on their pocketbook by threatening to pull their inventory off, and unless they gave them a lower commission split, which they've done to the big boys, the Marriott. So as a community, if we got together and came to the message that we have a large block of VRBO in this area, a very lucrative, our homes are more, the rates are larger than most other areas in Florida. That is definitely a message to hit their pocketbook, but it has to be a community message that we will leave unless you lower the commissions or come up with a model that is beneficiary to both. For the small potatoes, it's 25%, but the Marriotts and the IHGs and Hiltons of the world have gotten anywhere between 13 to 17. And Marriott back in the 13 already.
Hello, testing. Okay, yeah, you have to hold this mic.
How do you guarantee that people stick to their word? Say you get everybody to say, "Oh, we're all unified in this. We're gonna do this."
Well, it's
and I'm not a lawyer, so.
You have to follow. Even if you're a franchise, you have to follow the rules.
Right.
So, it's just the education I think has to be more locally in it than beyond local. It's got to be that as an industry, beyond we stand divided we fall. But it's easy for the brands because the brands dictate.
Right, and so I love that idea. I think
you have to realize that the Expedias of the world, the Booking.coms and all that, their marketing dollars are more than all of the marketing dollars put together of all the Hiltons, the Marriotts, and all that kind of stuff. So it is rough to change a habit. People are used to going to OTA for hotels. They're used to going to VRBO for hotels. So we would essentially have to break a habit, and that would take a lot of time. That would take a lot of endorsements on the site or this, that, and the other to break a habit. Mm-hmm. So I think that the hit would have to go to the VRBO pocketbook for us to see any type of real action. That's not to say not trying, but to change the habits of consumers, and everybody knows it's the hardest thing you can do, and it would take a long time, and there'd have to be a really strong incentive.
And I
in
love,
my opinion.
I love that idea, and I do think there's enough will here to get a lot of signatures on a page. Whether or not anything is needed beyond, just a signature of intent, that's the question. And
Right, and the thing is, the VRBOs are coming under competition from everyone else, so they're losing some of their dollars, so they're sitting back in their corporate office going, how can we make more money, keep our money, and stuff like that. So, while this competition is good, it's also, having them trying to find other ways to keep up.
Hey, just real quick, this microphone, you have to kind of hold it kind of close. And then if you don't mind identifying yourself, your name and just who you're with, that would be helpful. Just real quick, along with what we were just talking about, I'm just kind of curious, are there any rental firms in the room that aren't currently on VRBO? That are not? Are not on VRBO? Okay. I was just kind of interested maybe to see if anybody has a perspective on that and how that might be affecting their business.
Sorry to interrupt, but I
Yeah.
think, all of us,
Yeah.
unless we're representing our own home, we're representing owners.
Right.
Okay, the first question an owner is going to ask you is, what's your distribution?
Mm-hmm.
And, they know VRBO.
Right.
They know, every whatever.
Yeah.
So if you were to go to an owner and say, well, we're not on VRBO
Right.
anymore, they'd be looking for a different room
Mhm.
manager, unless it went for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did everybody hear Ashley's question? So she was just asking. Here, Ashley, I'll just hand this to you if you don't mind.
I was just saying, okay, so I was curious, my question was, I'm curious to see how many people are planning on getting off of VRBO once Matchback takes effect, which is scheduled to happen on March 15th. Matchback is when they are going to determine, if they determine themselves, or they say that they're going to give the property manager the ability to do it, HomeAway or VRBO.com as the source of any booking, then they are going to take an additional 10% off. So if you have a booking,
basically saying that
Property
"Well, wait,
managers.
we hear your noise and we're hearing you, and now we're going to revert back and not do that."
so my understanding as of yesterday, maybe I missed something, was that they were going to allow us to go in on the back end and assign the bookings either to HomeAway as the source, VRBO as the source, same grouping, or 360 Blue in my case as the source of that booking. And so they say at this point that it's not going to take any sort of impact, or it's not going to impact your ranking. I suspect that will quickly change. And so at some point they will say, okay, 360 Blue has not assigned HomeAway any bookings to HomeAway.com or VRBO as the source, so now their ranking falls and it will then become a portion of their algorithm. But going back to how it was supposed to be, on March 15th, and I think that's still the date that they're going to hit go, you have the opportunity to go in, either assign yourself or HomeAway as the creditor of that booking, and if they somehow go in and determine that you are not being truthful in that, then they may come back and either, threaten to pull your bookings or your listings, and then who knows what else will come next. But I was just curious if anybody was planning on taking their homes off of VRBO once that went into effect.
A lot of people can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
And so what we kind of talked about doing with our company, I'm Elizabeth Love with Platinum Vacations of Destin, where we're looking at them doing that, saying, well, we're going to have to figure out how to pay for that fee. And so ultimately, that's now going to be channeled over to the guest, which is an additional fee on top of their fees. And you can see where it's a trickle-down thing. I mean, you're going to have a pricing issue. The owner's bottom line is going to be totally different. And it's going to affect all of us tremendously.
And that's where I was going to, I would love if everybody went to my website, 30acstore.com, and booked all their places there. But I think if Visit South Walton, if we can all get everything listed and turn that into an alternative, and then have the county advertise that as, if you want to come to 30A or South Walton County, you go here and all the inventory that's available is there, and by the way, you're not paying a commission, then I think a lot of the bigger companies may be able to absorb that. But I think a lot of the smaller companies who don't have a choice and don't get the visibility or the eyeballs, that'll give them an alternative, that'll give them an out. Because at the end of the day, you've got to have people you've got to have the traffic in order to be able to talk to people to secure the reservation. And the only reason why HomeAway and VRBO are able to do what they're able to do is because they're the market leaders for that. I mean, everybody lists there. So until you have an alternative, they're going to continue to do what they want.
So would you like to see that arranged the way VRBO is now? So listings, or would you like to see it arranged by companies? So does somebody choose which company they want to work with through our website, or does somebody just look at the individual
I'd say
listings?
listing. I'd say it's you kind of go to, you land at the page, you put in how many guests, what are your days, and you see all the properties that are available. And ideally, as a nerd, it would be fantastic if there were a way for me to access that from an API where I can share my calendar. So you get so there's less manual input for me to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think if the county can do something like that, I think that's going to give smaller companies a lot more leverage and it would also be too for us when we're having negotiations or discussions with owners to say, no, we're not listing on HomeAway or VRBO, because if we do, at the end of the day, it costs them money. So, for me as a property manager, I'm a go-between. So someone's going to pay. It's either going to be the owner or it's going to be the guest. So I think that would be amazing if the county could do, and that could become, a destination that everybody in the country, you want to go to South Walton, hit this site, because I know we always get conversation. Once I actually have the opportunity to talk to a guest, they never go to HomeAway or VRBO again. Right. Because I've got that relationship with them. But and they save. They'll save the hundreds of dollars in fees that they're being charged. But I think it's getting that initial capture would be it would give us the ability to say, VRBO, I don't want to participate in your matchback program, and go away. I'm on Visit South Walton. You don't deliver the value that you say you do, because the county does, and I think that will strengthen our collective, because VRBO and HomeAway, they're not going to listen to me. I'm nobody. Right. But South Walton, I think that's a much louder voice.
Do you think having it broken up by neighborhood so people can search, so they at least have a way to come in and at least start searching? Yep. So you kind of just break it up. I mean, we have our 16 beach neighborhoods is how we market ourselves, so we could just kind of do it that way. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is BJ Shell, and I'm with the software division of HomeAway. Again, I'm with the software division of HomeAway.
You're a brave man.
We provide software, so many of you people in this room use my software. So, we are your software provider to help you run your business. So a couple things, guys. What Ashley brought up about the changes in the listings are, there are changes happening. Now, I am not in our listings division. I know enough about it to be dangerous, but there are some additional details I'd like to share about the changes that are coming up that will hopefully provide some clarification about what's happening. So first of all, in March 15th, any listing that you purchase from March 15th on will be subject to these new rules. Any listings that you currently have that haven't expired will not be subject to the new rules, first of all. Secondly, if you are on a paper booking listing with HomeAway, this has no impact or change to the way you do your business today or the way that your reservations work. If you are a subscription listing with HomeAway, it may have an impact on the way that you run your business and the way that you are charged. Now, one thing that HomeAway has told me is that you have to self-report that booking happened. And the only way that HomeAway can attribute that booking is if the guest inquired using the HomeAway tool to your company to say, they say email manager in HomeAway, it sends you a message, you get that message from them, then you encourage the guest to go and book outside of HomeAway on your website direct. That booking would then be attributable to an offline booking, which is exactly what this is all about. You then, as the property manager, have the ability to go and say, yes, I got that from HomeAway, or not. If you don't say that, HomeAway will never know that booking happened that way. If you report it, they're going to charge you the 10% fee. Will that have an impact on your search ranking in HomeAway? I don't know. And right now they're saying that it doesn't. But I mean, if you think about it realistically, if 100% of your reservations are never attributed to HomeAway, it is going to have an impact on your search ranking, because HomeAway wants to reward conversion and get more bookings and drive more revenue and get you guys more reservations. You know, one thing I tell my customers is you should never get a second booking from the same guest from HomeAway. If you do, shame on you. HomeAway should be a great resource for a new lead. But it's super hard to convince these folks to come direct with you because they don't trust you. They trust VRBO. They trust HomeAway. They're a big brand. And so you have to work really hard as a property manager to build that trust with your guest, to market your brand to them while they're here, to provide marketing tools to encourage that they come back and book direct, provide incentives to them once they're on site to get them to come back so you can retain that guest. It's super hard. There's a lot of really smart property managers in here that try all that stuff and the guest still goes to HomeAway and books the property, you know? But that's what you have to do as a property manager. So, you know, the programs that are coming up, there are changes coming up. The price of the listing subscription is going up. And that's going to happen with all new subscriptions that start on March 15th. So again, I want the software division, not the listing division. And if you have questions about software, we'll be happy to help you.
So that brings up a good point too, of what you can do to improve that guest experience. I saw another hand.
Hi, Laura Clayton with Beach Condos in Destin. Recently on ECBYO, we were all encouraged, or several of us that are on the local Facebook groups were encouraged to do some kind of ad or some kind of social media thing with hashtag book direct. I think a great idea for South Walton would be to maybe get some billboards for all of us, hashtag book direct or something clever, and then also fly banners. Say no to VRBO, hashtag book direct. Fly banners that say that with South Walton on it, directing them back to your website. I think guests, by the time they'll get here, they know they got charged that 10% fee, and they're going to be looking for alternatives. So just put it in their face, all of us, as much as we can.
Shame on you for coming in here. I'm just kidding. You know, when they, what we're experiencing, my name is Etoy Moore, and what I'm experiencing is that so that your subscription is in case. So it's not March 15th that you're in. And
any listings are renewed after March 15th. If it renewed on March 12th, it goes to
no, right now it's February 27th, and unless I go to online booking, I can't renew.
That's probably true as well.
Yeah, and so, and exactly, and so they charge you. You have to use their online booking. They only give you a 24-hour window to reject, which is a problem for us because we can't. You know, you may not reach, see the information within that 24-hour period, and then they're just going to automatically book the reservation for you. That's an issue because you don't get a chance to screen the person that is asking for that reservation. So you may have a room for sleeps 5, but it's 1 adult and 4 children. Well, you may not want 4 children in there. So it's like a little unfair for them to force that booking on you. But my question is, are you going to do anything about calendars?
That's one of the suggestions.
Because that's our primary reason why we use VRBO. We have that fantastic calendar that everyone sees, and it's like, okay, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think we can afford that guy. I do think that the calendar is a great function, and that's something we'll look for.
Everyone looks for that, so are you able to do that individually for the listings, or we have to have our own website?
You know, it's something that we'll have to look into as we go through and program our new website about that functionality, but it is certainly something we'll look into.
What's your time frame?
For the new website, right now the RFP is out, and so we're early on in the process, so it probably will not be for a good this year. Yes, it probably won't be for a good 6 months.
Ashley, just one real quick.
Hi, I am Brittany Garger with Gibson Beach Rentals. I personally do not think it would be in the marketing budget of Visit South Walton to become a listing site. I feel like we as individual owners or property managers have many resources in front of us. While this might be a VRBA hate conversation, we still have Airbnb, Expedia, Booking, I can go on and on, of other resources that still charge 15, 20% to list on their sites as well. So it's not just VRBO that's the big elephant in the room. So with that being said, you know, we've talked about pushing this Book Direct message. The issue I love Book Direct. Consumers do not know what that means. They do not know how to book direct. So if you have never been to Visit South Walton and I'm just book direct, book direct, book direct, they're going to say, okay, well, how do I book direct? So I think if Visit South Walton could come up with materials and explanations on their website and on their property management, you know, sites and owner sites, of really explaining this is how you book direct. You know, we've got Visit South Walton has a page for property managers and a page for owners, and here's all the information on there. Just helping them understand what it means to book direct and how to get to those sources without going through the OTAs. The other part, which the gentleman over there brought up, as far as like rewards programs, I feel like another good thing that Visit South Walton could do is really in that how to book direct, explain to consumers the advantages. You know, just telling them they book 20%, some people might be willing to pay 20% because it's easy. How many people shop on Amazon now and they might pay more for their products, but it's easy, it's convenient. So, you know, you've got to figure out that cost there, but I think if you explain to guests that, you know, I know like with our property management company, a guest cannot get a discount if they book on any OTA. So if they're a repeat guest, they're paying full price and the OTA's fee, versus if they came direct to us, they're already paying 10 to 20% less, and they get a 5 or 10% repeat guest discount or a Florida resident discount or anything like that. So I think if you guys could, you know, on the property management pages or on the direct owner pages, you know, help us list about what are the advantages. You can use discount codes. Maybe there's special amenities. Owners can give you, you know, special recommendations and local recommendations. If you're with a property manager and there's an issue, we have a lot more resources than Expedia really does to try to figure out where to move somebody. So I think just, again, instead of trying to be a listing site and getting involved in that mess, because then you're going to have to wind up becoming like VRBO to fight with them. I think just using the material that we already have and just promoting our brands and explaining to guests how they find us and what that means is very important.
How do you alert your guests to the discount of booking direct versus booking through a OTA?
I mean, it's all just through them actually getting to us. We send out postcards after they stay. We still have the Glad to Have You out, where we have a automatic reminder that goes out to them X amount of days after their departure that says, hey, make sure that you book direct so you get your 5%. We still put it in our email responses. I'm sure that will be taken away soon as well. So, I mean, we try to do as much. We put promotional materials in the properties. We have a book direct and low price guarantee badge on our page. So it's all about just educating the consumer.
That's great information. No, I appreciate that. And just real quick, you had mentioned about how do you educate from a destination standpoint about the book direct message, and it's quite interesting. I'm not sure if anyone in the room has seen it, but Coastal Living has in this month's publication an ad by Outer Banks, and it's a 2-page ad, and in there they talk about how the whole process of how you book direct. So I thought that was very interesting, especially in light of what we're discussing here today. So obviously other destinations are having the same thing that we're having here. So that might be something that we look at in our messaging of how do we get that point across, other than just saying book direct. How do you explain that to people?
All right, it's me again. I felt like that was really well said. I do think that a lot of this is about just really driving our consumers, our customers, our guests to book locally. To go along with that, I think a lot of our guests really still think that they're booking with VRBO, so they contact us and they think that we are VRBO, and when in reality we're 360 Blue. So we've really struggled with trying to establish our brand in order to be able to communicate with them what book direct even means to start with. So I do think that that's a huge part of it, is that education process. I think a statistic that's really worth knowing is, somewhere between 80 and 85% of our business per the surveys that go out every year or every season say that 80 to 85% of our business in this area is repeat business, which means that we have our customers. They're coming here and then they're coming here again. So we have the databases cumulatively to be able to go back to these people and say, here's what book direct means, here's how you should do it, and here's why you should do it. It's going to save you somewhere between 10 to 20%. So I think if we can band together and figure out how to really drive that repeat business back to us via our own databases, then we're going to see the biggest bang for our buck. One of the, like you mentioned, Airbnb obviously is a big opportunity for us if we wanted to go that route. The difference there is that they don't require rate parity. So you can book on Airbnb and you can charge that extra percentage back to the guest, whereas HomeAway, it impacts your ranking because they do require rate parity in order for you to be able to stay where you want in the algorithm. And I think my last point, I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. We are a specific market. We don't really fit into the mold of what most vacation rental managers or, when HomeAway defines a typical vacation rental market, we are not it. I think that we are a significant part of their business. I say that and feel pretty strong about that stance. But I don't think that we are grouped into the majority of what their vacation rental markets look like. We have a very high-end niche of inventory, and then we also have a very high expectation that comes from our guests who don't want to be outsourced, who don't want to talk to somebody that's not from this area. People do know this area, so they know when they're talking to someone that's on the other side of the globe, because 85% of our business is repeat. So I think, again, if we can just band together and really come up with this book local initiative and book direct and really teach them what that means, it's going to be most important. And then last, I've worked with BJ personally many times, and he is a fantastic person, so I think it's really admirable that you're here. So I don't want there to be a target on his back, because he really is. He's one of the strongest, most well-known sales people in the industry, and he has done a lot for the industry as a whole.
So quick idea. I wanted to get something I wanted to get your feedback on, just real quick. Say, as Ashley said, most of our business is repeat business. You have your contact information for companies. Maybe you're already reaching out to them to explain to them directly. What if you shared that customer contact information to a third party that we'd never get to see any of these names or addresses, and we would pay to send out a mailer with book direct information? And so the question is, would you be willing to share that information? So I see a lot of nods. I don't see a lot of shakes. Any shakes?
Well, I just have just a comment that, these ideas are great and everything, but as far as from repeat and all that, you have to realize that we still have a large percent of our consumers that don't know they're in South Walton. Okay, they know the neighborhoods they're going to, so even the notion of a Visit South Walton booking type engine, the guest doesn't know when they're here that they're in South Walton. You know, so they know they're in Seaside, they know they're in Rosemary, they know they're, you know, in Sandestin. So just the education curve on that, which is what you guys, that's what you do, and it's definitely increased, but it's got a long way to go to get to where that brand could actually be a booking, not a booking engine, but even a booking mechanism for the masses.
And you're absolutely right. And those of you that are in South Walton can help us with that. We're always happy to share any sort of information or graphics or anything like that you might need that might help you promote South Walton.
Hi there, my name's Dave. I've got 10 homes, condos that I own and manage from Destin, 30A, and down to Panama City. So I'm a small-time person. I manage all my own properties. But there is an alternative to VRBO, and it's emeraldcoastbyowner.com. I signed up with them last year in January, and they really saved me that whole year last year. Just for example, I'd be glad to share my emails just today alone. Only on my 10 properties, I had 21 hits today inquiring about spring vacations and summer vacations through Emerald Coast by Owner. 2 VRBO hits today. And this is a very busy time of year right now. Everybody knows that their computer should be lighting up. And I think I saw a shirt in here that said Emerald Coast by Owner. Maybe someone that works there might be in the room that maybe they could talk. I don't know where they are. Back there. Thank you very much for everything you guys have done for me. They're a great alternative. There's no fees. It's like the old VRBO used to be. They send you an email. You deal directly with them. If you want to do a credit card, you do a credit card. You want to do a check, you do a check. You want to get your payment 30 days, 60 days in advance. It's awesome. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that site. They're very easy to work with.
So, question for you in regards to their model. How are they paid? I mean, is it just fee simple? Subscription? Okay.
Yeah, just one question. I'm assuming building out the website, the idea is to try and compete, to try and drive more there. What sort of studies do we have? I mean, it's money you're going to spend that we pay, so it's our money essentially that you're going to invest in this. What's the expectation for success there? What does success look like once you're finished?
I mean, honestly, that's something that we'll have to take a look at and see what the ROI is. Because we all know, I mean, you could build a tool, and if no one uses the tool, then it's useless. So that's something that we'll have to look at as we get a little bit further in this process. As we just put the RFP out, and now like this is kind of evolving, because we really weren't planning on doing something, what we're talking about in terms of now with the functionalities that we're discussing, because before it was just kind of some basic listings of the rental management firms. So this is kind of evolving, which I think is a good thing. I think the more information we have on our site, that's a better return for all of our partners, and that when we go out and promote our site via social or digital or traditional, then, I mean, that's the way that we're promoting all of your businesses. So I think it's something that we're going to have to examine as we kind of go through the process and then just see what the ROI is, because at this point we have no idea what it would even cost to create what we're talking about. So we kind of have to get all that figured out.
So I'm Jim with 30A Escapes, and I just wanted to go back to his point about ECBYO. Also want to point out are the Rent 30A guys here? Rent 30A? Hey guys. The way I feel about the TDC, the best thing we could do is actually not get you guys into the listings and all the different add-in pictures and everything, but just promote the rental companies and the independent owners that manage their own properties. It'll be a lot easier for you, and take those monies that we don't even know what the budget would be and go hit the campaigns of the book direct with local management companies, book direct with local owners, because obviously we all know that in the past people felt like they were saving money by going VRBO because they thought they were running with the owner direct, and that's just completely, it's not even the same stratosphere of a company anymore. So I would contend that you take the two best options that I have found. I'm currently doing beta testing with ECBYO. Very happy with that. I've been doing business with Rent 30A for the last 2 years since they launched that site. It's been fantastic. We're over how many subscriptions now, John and Patrick? Over 1,000. It's subscription only, no booking fees. Same with the ECBYO guys. I would say, let's go support them. You know, they've already got it. Why do we want to recreate the wheel?
Well, or maybe perhaps I'm just spitballing here, but maybe there's an integration between one of those companies and what we're proposing. You know, it's something we can explore.
Yeah.
You know, we could always put out an RFP specifically for that and say, okay, we need to integrate this service into our website.
Because it's not fair to the people that rent in Miramar, Destin, and Panama City Beach to really get behind Rent 30A, but ECBYO would be a perfect fit for them. So, anyway.
Mm-hmm. And again, I love ECBYO. Everybody should be on it.
Mm-hmm.
Great traction for our area and geniuses. However, VRBO 10 years ago, 7 years ago, told us they weren't going to change. VRBO told us everything's great. You're going to have your $1,000 program, which it was subscription, and things change. So I just really feel strongly that you guys have to make up your minds. If you start sending people to listing sites, we're going to confuse the consumer. Because they're going to say, well, what listing? They don't know. We know what listing sites are good or not, and we can promote them individually, but as a county-wide project, you're going to put people in the page.
Well, and these are all, I mean, we're, you know, having a conversation here so we can explore all these different options. And then I'm sure we're going to probably have another meeting or two, and we'll invite everybody back, and we'll kind of share some ideas. We'll take this and go and, you know, talk to some of our partners as we move forward with this website and look at what some of the capabilities are and see what we can offer. And then we'll kind of get a pulse of what people feel is most appropriate. And obviously we'll have some differences of opinions. I mean, that's only natural. And then we'll just kind of see how we'll move forward from there.
I'll try to project. I think that what might be advantageous is maybe sort of an accommodate. It would be great, me as an independent developer, I want eyeballs at the end of the day. I believe if you provide good service to your customers, they're going to want to do business with you, and that's why I like with all my people whose homes I manage, they don't sign contracts, long-term contracts. As long as I'm doing a job for them, they're going to keep coming back. I think that what we're seeing in, and I don't know what OTA means. Online travel. Okay, online travel. What I think you're seeing with some of these online travel agencies is there's no choice in terms of what we want. We don't have a choice. You either take it or you leave one. It's kind of like if you want to run Microsoft Office. You can read the end user license agreement, but if you disagree with it, you're just not going to use the software. Right. So I think maybe what might be advantageous is maybe not physical, I still think TDC being a destination site, but maybe if there's a way that the TDC can be kind of curious so that I, as a property owner, can go and list my site on TDC, and then maybe there's a fee. I pay $200 a listing, and then that gets me published on ECBYO, Rent 30A. I mean, you know, so that I don't have to go. So if I go pay $100 to ECBYO, $100 to Rent 30A, you know, $500 to HomeAway, then it just drives up the cost to me, lowers my margins. What cost is more expensive to the consumer. Good point. Thank you.
For those of you that are having to get out of here, if you will email us, follow back up. If you have questions that you didn't get a chance to get out, please do that. Your emails will definitely be read.
I just want to speak up. My name is Debbie Tyson. I own one home. I've had it for 19 years. I've been with VRBO since 1999. I have a low number. I've seen it all. I've paid low price. I've paid $1,500. And now, because I'm not doing their book online or instant booking, my listing is like bottomed out. I'm not getting inquiries, nothing. But I'm finding that the people that I have rented to in the past, I've sent out e-blasts to them all, and they're very upset about the service fee that VRBO is charging. They don't know. I made the mistake of declining a rental and then just having them book with me. Well, that the owner doesn't decline. The renter has to cancel it so that they don't get charged. But that's my comment. And I mean, I hear all of the management companies, and I think that's great, but I know there are a lot of owner managers like myself with 1 or 2 properties, and it's killing us. I mean, I have 4 weeks for the summer rentals, and that's pitiful. So, but I think I'm encouraged by Emerald Coast by owners. Well, that's, yeah. Absolutely. There is a new website. Somebody contacted me. It's called FloridaRentalByOwners.com, and it's a group of rent owners who have started a company. I looked them. They look okay, but they're all over Florida, and they don't have many listings for this area. So I agree with you there. But just, those of us who are just the mom and pop single owners, we're hurting.
So if there were another alternative out there, I mean, it sounds like you'd be interested in pursuing something else beyond VRBO. Okay. Okay, good to know.
Hi, my name is Amy Coble, and I'm with Homeowners Collection in Seaside, and I just want to echo a little bit of what you've said. We started a couple of years ago fighting this whole issue where they were jumbling all of our product, and so you thought you were in Seaside and you were getting watercolor and rosemary, and we've started having guests express frustrations then, and it has just been a downhill slide. And I do not believe we have a lot of customers going to VRBO because they trust them. They're going to VRBO because they can see all the options. So for example, if you're looking for a house in Seaside and you're not really married to a management company, you can see every 4-bedroom versus just seeing one management company's 4-bedroom. So I would also encourage the group not to miss little opportunities. Every guest I speak to on the phone, I explain to them why they do not need to be using HomeAway and VRBO, and I will give them my direct competitor's name. I'll say, if you want to rent in Seaside, if you'll hit X, Y, Z, and us, you will have already talked to everybody. And also, our guests will receive a letter. Every check-in packet has a letter from me. It will clearly address this issue this year, why they need to continue to look local versus looking at a VRBO, because those are our captured audience of whatever statistics, 70 to 80% repeat customers. Those folks still don't even know really the downside other than they're getting to see all the inventory, but there's still also a way to get back to the direct management company. And so I would also maybe ask that everybody make sure they're doing that, educate these folks. And I do think we're getting headway because, again, that a lot of them do feel like the fees are hidden. They're shocked by that. I spoke with a guest last week that was furious. She felt like the average rate, the way they averaged on the front of the listing, she thought that was what she was going to book at, and she kept screaming at me, and I kept explaining, I don't control that. I just put our rates in. They average them up somehow on VRBO, in VRBO land. And so take every opportunity you get to educate the customer on the phone or the customer in the house. I think that'll go a long way, and then I think all the other ideas that have been expressed are outstanding. And I also just want to say really quickly, I think it's awesome to have this many bed tax collectors and lodging operators in the same room to openly communicate about any issue. So thank you for hosting this. Very worthwhile.
Would you consider sharing the letter that you send to your people or making that available with your other partners? Okay, so maybe send that to us, and we can make that available for other people to look at as a model, if that would be helpful.
Okay, I just wanted to share a couple things. I am also on Emerald Coast by owner since about last April. I'm a new rental, and I've had over 3,000 views with no bookings. I have a brand new home in Blue Mountain Beach. I own and manage my own home. So I have not seen any activity with them, and I belong to all their Facebook pages. And everybody that inquired was looking for a bargain. Everybody wanted a bargain, and it's not a discounted site. It's just a book without fees. So that's my share on that. And then with the VRBO, they wanted you to become a premier partner, saying that you've earned that status to be this premier partner. Well, they're also offering it to brand new listings, so they have not earned that. So I don't understand, why they're doing that. I don't do the instant booking because I want contact with my guests before some type of communication before I do that. And so now I am wondering, is it affecting them allowing inquiries to come through if you're not doing all this? I think it does, because I was having a lot. I had like 6 bookings, and then like the past month, I'm having all these views, and no inquiries. So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, hi. My name is Ron Larson. I have one property, and I need to book on HomeAway and Verbo because that they're the big guys out there. My biggest frustration is the fact that they've now shut off direct communication between me and my potential customer. I don't mind if somebody wants to book through HomeAway and they go ahead and pay their fee, and I've had several this year that have, that's fine. But I'd like to be able to communicate with people, and so it frustrates me that they're cutting that off. The big suggestion that I'd like to have for the TDC is I'd like to see you guys band together with other TDCs, Bay County, Okaloosa County, whatever, and create a big voice and let the HomeAway Verbo folks know that we're not happy, that there is pressure here, that I don't know what you guys legally can do, but make an alliance here. Let them know that there's a lot of people that want to see things change. I don't, if people want to pay their fee, great. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with the fact that they're cutting off communication between me and my guests until somebody pays money.
That's a great idea. And there is actually a Northwest Florida Tourism Coalition, and it's all the TDCs in Northwest Florida. We have a meeting next week, so I'll bring that up to them when we talk. Put pressure on them.
Yeah, my name is Kevin Casebeard. I'm here with 38 Home Rentals, and just want to let you be aware that we have another listing site amongst some of the others that just give you another option. We're actually local, but we're also part of a national organization. We have listing sites like our own that's all across the United States. We don't have any booking commissions or fees, and it's a free trial if you want to give us a try. It's 38homerentals.com. And after the free trial, it's like only $99 a year. So we're growing very rapidly in the 38 area, doing a lot of promotions here. We're going to see a lot of print advertising locally and online as well. So if you want to give us a try.
What he's talking about is a national program that's just getting off the ground, as well as an international program that will be getting off the ground. One unique thing about this, because I noticed someone was saying, well, yesterday VRBO said this, the day before they said that, and that is a concern. Any company can change. In this particular case, this particular company that Kevin is talking about, that he's part of, is separate, meaning my wife and I actually have Michigan and Wisconsin, and then there's different groups that take care of Hawaii or different regions. And any changes would mean that everybody would have to agree on it. So that makes it so you're not going to see changes. This has been created by owners to benefit owners.
I have some flyers if you're interested. So.
My name is Joe Didier. I got 2 places in Redfish Village, and I actually have one with a rental company and one I do myself to keep you guys honest. No, just kidding. But really, when you look at HomeAway and VRBO, I agree, I ditto the conversation. If this is about treating this community as different, which we are, you look at the rental markets around the country, we're in the top 10. The fact of the matter is we don't necessarily hold them as much weight as a Marriott and everything. And I stay at Marriott's, and I know Junior, so I know how it works. The fact of the matter is we're less than 1% of the revenues. 2 weeks ago, they announced their earnings, and we just don't have clout until you get bigger. So whether that's Northwest Florida, Visit Florida, whatever, you're not going to really have any action there. It's just not going to happen. So I think the key is trying to figure out other solutions. I would agree with your co-op program. I think it's a popular program. I think you could go to those lists. I assume you get them also. Go back the last 5 years and email those people. That's only going to help everybody in this room. I don't think you use them at all right now. I would start there. I think you could start with a phased approach where you basically do maybe that logo and get everybody in here to hand that out or have it after the cleanup and let people know immediately and then figure out the next plan.
Right now, Visit Florida is staying out of this. They're pretty firm in their stance to
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be very hard if everyone's room signed, much less other owners, to get that kind of clout. So I think more of a phased approach, and then see how you can make that dent. Because the fact of the matter is, when people come through, I mean, they use that site, and I got people that I've run into before, and they just do it because that's the first email they found, or they knew where to find our site on that thing because they lost the contact. Whatever it is, the fact is once they come to me, then I lose out because I book direct because we have a relationship, and the other people. So every time you do better yourself direct, you're losing on HomeAway. That's not really a product that you want to stay on long term. There's no solution there. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, and you got to get into another solution because we're about customer service in this area. We're about being different. We're about raising the level of expectation. There's not as much discretionary income issues as in other areas because of that. And the fact of the matter, if they're taking money, they're taking out of all our pockets. So we got to figure out something collectively. I would start with kind of the badging. I'd start with your updates on your websites. I'd go back to your own email list that you probably don't use and send that message out, blanket it, and everybody hit the summer, and then you see where you are because you can't make any changes now anyways. None of us can. You can't go, I'm going to turn it off tomorrow. Because then you're out of luck, and so are your owners.
Any other questions? Yep.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Godar with Emerald Coast by Owner, and this is my nephew, Corey Godar. He kind of heads up the social media and marketing. And we want to thank everybody who said, nice, kind words about us. The thing we preach the most that I think is this close to being done in this group is to preach your independence. And everybody in the last 10 years, well, number one, I'm a property owner here for 20 years. I've owned my first vacation rentals, multiple rentals here in Walton County. So I'm a taxpayer. I just happened to get into this business when we saw what was coming down the pike here a little bit ago. But we talk to a lot of our users and we preach, get on these websites. One website's not going to cure your issue. One county website's not going to cure your issue. One Facebook group is not going to do it. HomeAway and VRBO did an unbelievable job for too long, and everybody fell asleep at the wheel. So that's why they can control you and do what they want to do to you, because you have no other choices to go to. This will take time. You can't go start a Facebook group tomorrow and join one website tomorrow and divorce yourself of it. But this is all great dialogue. We've been working on this for about 3 years. I know everybody wants us to replace VRBO tomorrow, yesterday, but we have to grow. We're growing. Everything is working well, but it'll take time for everybody, just like the county will take time to get your site up. But the combination of talking about linking some of these major regional sites together is spot on. That can be done. It might take us a year to do it, but down the road, we can protect ourselves, and we have no intentions of putting you, the property owner manager, in front of us. We understand and allow links. We want to promote your business. We want you to understand that we're a source for your marketing. We're not going to control your business. We just don't believe in that, in that way to do it. So I think the people in the room have choices. There's other sites and other things to do, but it's just going to take time to do it. That's all.
Hey, I'm John Wellborn with Rent38. I know most of you guys. I've been here for 10 years. Just want to tell you that we've heard for 10 years what you guys want, and we feel like we've built a good solution. So we invite you to check us out. If you want more information, email us at info@rent30a.com. We are only we're only 30A, so we don't go to Sandestin or Destin. We don't do Panama City. We don't go to Gulf Shores. We're only 30A. And because of that, if you search just about any 30A rental search key in Google, you can do it right now on your phone, we come up number one in almost all of them and in the top three for virtually all of them. We've got over 1,000 properties, and we're taking online bookings. We're integrated with Escapia V12. We'll be integrated with Streamline here in a month or two. That means it's no hassle to upload your properties, manage your properties, and we're taking online bookings every day. So maybe it's a good solution, and hopefully you guys will check it out and see if it's something that works for you. Yes? So I think when we go to Miramar and Sandestin, it'll be Rent Miramar or Rent Sandestin. Yeah. In fact, we already have Rent Miramar is already one of our domains. So if we grow, it will be that local market. So Rent 30A will always be just 30A, and we're actually already broken up into the different communities where people can search. We already have it divided into the different communities. So we'll be going to Panama City, I'm sure, but our focus right now is 38, and this is our home, and we want to make sure that you guys are in good shape. So look us up if we can help, and I'll be happy to give you more information.
Anybody else? Okay, well, yep.
Why wouldn't Visit Florida jump on this issue? Because this takes money out of the pockets of the state of Florida, Walton County, Okaloosa County, out of the individual owners' pockets. It affects all of us.
You'd have to take that up with Visit Florida. We're past time at this point. We want to thank everybody for coming. There was a line that most of you stood in on the way in for the email. We'll keep you updated through that email address. Thank you very much.